Fetishization. This was an issue in the very last video. Hello everyone, it's me again, Chocolate Geisha, back again for another video, so thank you for tuning in. And today we have another very highly requested video about what it's like dating in Japan as a Black woman. So let's get right into this video, shall we? Okay, like a lot of my videos recently, this video comes with a disclaimer. This is my experience. You may experience something totally different from what I have, so please be aware of that. Take my opinions with a grain of salt and approach your own situation accordingly. You could very well experience something very different, so keep your mind open because you never know who you're gonna meet. You really never know. So, alright, with that said, let's get into the video. Like I've mentioned in a previous video, men are men. Men like women. Some men like other men, but men like women. So if you're a beautiful, well-presented woman, men are gonna react positively to you. Like, that's just a given. And Japan is no exception. So, if you're looking your best and you're going around and basically putting your best foot forward no matter where you go, people are going to respond positively to you. But there are a couple things very unique to Japan, and there are a couple obstacles that I have encountered in dating Japanese men. I'm gonna get into these three topics right now. The first is interracial dating hesitation. Yes, hesitation. What I mean by hesitation is that some Japanese men are a little on edge about dating interracially, and that includes white women or other non-Japanese women as well. Japan is currently experiencing a drop in population. There are not enough young people here growing up to become adults. There are a lot of older people who are growing to become somewhat of a burden on society. So a lot of Japanese men, especially if they're the only boy in the family and they feel the need to be the head of the household after their father, there's a lot of pressure on them to procreate with Japanese women and create the next generation of Japanese people. However, that does not stop some of them from pursuing foreign women. I will say, I'm not here to play any games. I'm not here to play with your feelings or sell you a dream, but a lot of Japanese men, the ones who do want to date interracially, go for white women. A lot of them do. Please don't concern yourself with that. That's for another topic. I'm not going to explain that, but just take my word for face value, okay? Don't make that your business. But what I am going to talk about are people who are open to dating non-Caucasian looking people and how they go about dating. A lot of Japanese men aren't ones to lead women on. That's one thing that I've noticed. They don't really play with women's feelings as much as, I guess, the fuck boys do in America. A lot of them, they like what they like and they'll go after what they like, and if they don't like you, then you would know, okay? Like, they don't play with you just for sex or anything like that. It's very different here. They don't lead you on in the spirit of trying to get something out of you. If they like you, they like you and they're gonna pursue you. If they don't like you, then you will know they don't. And it's really that simple. If you can find a guy who is open to dating interracially and who isn't inhibited by his preconceived notions about non-Japanese women, non-Caucasian women, then you can go on to obstacle 2, and hopefully you pass through obstacle 2 as well. The second obstacle is being fetishized by Japanese men. Fetishization. I said that right. And we as Black women face a lot of fetishization. Not as much as Black men, I will say. A lot of the stereotypes that I mentioned in the last video, I'll probably put a link down below or a link at the end of this video. A lot of those stereotypes portrayed by the media are based on Black men. However, Black women, we have a lot of room to prove people wrong. We have a lot of room to show people who we really are. There are people who will want to get to know you and be your friend and eventually be more based on the fact that you're Black. And a lot of those people, I will say a big hint is a lot of those people do give themselves away. Oh, I love hip hop. I listen to Tupac. I love Biggie. That kind of fetishization does not necessarily impede on their ability to love you and respect you as a person. So that honestly is, as the Japanese say, case by case. As you meet these kinds of people, it's kind of a box of chocolates. You don't really know what you're gonna get, so be open to where that person is coming from. And that in itself is kind of case by case. So please be very aware and look into your relationships. Try to dissect your relationships and see really where you stand with the person you're dealing with. Because a lot of the time I find with Black women at least, if they are interested in getting to know you and getting to know you intimately, a lot of them don't really care for the stereotypes. They just want to get to know you. And that brings me to number 3. If your man is not hung up on dating interracially, if he's open to dating interracially, and 2, meaning that he's not fetishizing you and he genuinely likes you for who you are and not what you are, then number 3 is the third obstacle that I found to be significant in me pursuing relationships with Japanese men. And the third one is relationship dynamics. Different relationship roles that they expect out of women compared to what we experience in the US or in other Western nations. Japan as a country is very conservative. If you're coming from America, it might be a little shocking at first. It might be a little dose of culture shock because they are very conservative. Some people call it misogynistic. I personally call it traditional. They are very traditional. If you look into traditional Japanese values, that's what a lot of the men, especially the big brothers of certain families, a lot of them hold that traditional view. And a lot of them expect you to fulfill that if you are pursuing a serious relationship with them. Because if you reach obstacle 3 and you're dealing with obstacle 3, that means that you are at the last barrier between you and pursuing a long-term relationship with this person, is what I found in my experience, right? What I mean by traditional is that men in Japan like to play a man's role. A lot of them like to be stereotypically masculine when it comes to dealing with relationships. And I think that also plays into the fact that a lot of women are very girly and very feminine in the way that they lead themselves into society. So for example, men like to be financially responsible. Men pay for dates, men pay for gifts, men pay for events, things that you do together. To this day, I have not paid for one date that I have been on with a man. There is no going Dutch, there's no splitting things halfway. A lot of it is just going about your date and expecting that the man is going to be the man and provide for you. A lot of you who are into that will be into Japanese men because a lot of them have that kind of mentality when it comes to relationships. I feel like this is a very touchy subject because there are people on both sides, people who like when a man takes care of everything and women who really don't like it at all. They might even hate it. However, one thing that I will say is that Japanese men are very dedicated lovers. One thing that I've noticed from them is that they are definitely providers in spirit. They like being able to give you what you want and need. I have gotten such lavish gifts on dates, like first dates, second dates. I've gotten flowers, I've gotten chocolate and candy. There was actually one man who I went on a third date with. I was getting kind of serious with him. And he bought me a bottle of champagne with my birth year because he was an older man. He was maybe I'd say 10-ish years older than me. So he was an older man to me, right? One day he brought me a bottle of champagne that had my birth year engraved on it, 1995, like engraved so nicely on this bottle. It was a big bottle of champagne too. And he gave it to me and he's like, this is for you. Like, a lot of them are that thoughtful, the kind of thoughtfulness that I personally haven't experienced in America, living there for 22 years of my life. Coming here, I've experienced a new level of masculinity, a new level of chivalry that I didn't experience before. So that is definitely a turn on for me. I like that. If you do end up passing the first, second, and third obstacle that I found that I've had to deal with, then you are set for a very fulfilling relationship. And I will say that right now because I have experienced that as well. And it is very fulfilling. It feels like how relationships are supposed to feel. So with that said, that's all I've got for the video. Best of luck to you in your relationships as a Black woman or as a non-Black woman or as a man if you happen to watch the video this far. Best of luck to you in your relationship and your romantic endeavors, and I hope that you get everything that you want. That is it for this video. If you like this video, then like it. And if you want to see more, then hit subscribe and become part of the YouTube fam. But thank you so much for tuning in, and best of luck to you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Fetishization. Fetishization.